Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for logging in. Just a quick reminder, when you are speaking, please remember to unmute your mics. And when someone else is speaking, please mute your mic. I'm seeing a couple mics that are not muted. Can everyone go ahead and mute their mics for me?
Okay, there.
Alrighty. So my name is Kayla Francis. I am a student here at the University of the Virgin Islands, St. Croix campus, and I'm also the student administrator for the Health Services Center here at the campus as well. This afternoon, I have the wonderful opportunity of being the mediator for this student panel, and I really look forward to a fruitful discussion. Although we're running a bit late, we will catch up there. The topics that we are going to speak on today revolves around the coronavirus pandemic and its effects on all of our lives. With that being said, let's jump into the first question. With that being, in terms of your academics, financials, job, family, friends, and social life, tell us about some of the challenges you have been experiencing and how you have been coping with them during the pandemic. Would anyone like to take a first hit at that question and break the ice for us?
I can start.
Go ahead, Miss Joseph.
Okay. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abigail Joseph. I am a junior senior at the University of the Virgin Islands, and my major is psychology. Well, as the COVID began, the hardest thing for me was being social. As you know, we have to be 6 feet apart, and we are social creatures. So it was kind of difficult for me trying to meet with my friends. Well, with my immediate family, we're together, but meeting out with my friends and having that social time was difficult for me. But in terms of academics, I also like to be on campus too, so that was hard for me. And time management, because at school I know I could do my assignments in the library, have that downtime and focus, but when I'm home is like I could do this, I could do that, I could do this, still trying to, so the time management and the focus was one of the challenges for me.
Very, very relatable, Miss
Yeah.
Joseph. Very relatable. Would someone else like to take a go at that question?
Thank you.
Go ahead, Miss Rosario.
Yes. As challenges go, I agree with Miss Joseph. I miss being on campus. I miss being able to have a quiet place to go to and find a room in the library or one of the classrooms and get to do the work. It's very hard to do stuff at home, to work at home because there's too many distractions. And the missing friends, also the big challenge is missing your friends and family. Not being able to hang out, to get together, and the emotional toll that takes when you can't be with the people you love, and have that close relationship anymore. So that's about it. Just I'll miss my UVI family, miss being on campus.
I understand. How about you, Miss Christopher? I see your hand up. Would you like to take the question?
Yes. Okay. So my name's Allegra Christopher. I am a mixture between a sophomore and a junior. I had to start over. I'm a fine arts performing major at St. Thomas campus. I'm an adult student, so I have a little slightly bit different issues. Yes, I miss being on campus. One, because since my adult children are gone, I don't have anyone here with me. So I don't see people for days. And so being on campus, I was at least allowed to be near other adults or near my students or near my classmates. The interaction is gone. So my kids are like in different places. So as a parent, my one son is on campus. My one daughter is, living in New York. It's stressful. The academics, yes. The scheduling and organizing your life, because I have to still work and I still have to do schedule my time. It's not. I like she said, library. Go to the library, get your work done, you go about your business. It's been difficult. That's a bit that the loneliness is the problem.
Yes, yes, indeed. For myself as a student, going to the library was like a sort of quiet sanctuary where you get the most work done. And with it gone, it does really have an effect on us. Let's move to Mr. Rodriguez. What is your response to that question?
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Franco Rodriguez. I am a freshman at the UVI Aberystwyth campus and also the SGA president for UVI here in St. Croix. Um, to start off with, COVID has been good and bad to me from the time it started in March 2020. I had a job opportunity in October 2019 and was hyped that it was my chance to raise money, have myself get a car, get your own place to rent and live in. But I turned it down because I didn't like the outlook of the job and how the manager was managing the place. So from October 2019, a whole year and a month, I've been looking for work and I haven't been successful. But I am not a person who typically gives up because God knows what He's doing in my life. So COVID made my financial life terrible, like very terrible, like wall being broken in many pieces. So COVID has been rough, but there is a surprise.
Okay. What you relatable as well, what is speaking of looking at the other panelists and they were also nodding their heads. Not that is something I believe goes across the board with all of us. Let's jump on into the second question, which is what has been some surprising and some positive experiences you have had during the pandemic? Anyone could take a shot at that. You could go ahead, Miss Rosario.
Okay.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'll jump in, and I'm so sorry I didn't really identify myself. My name is Wanda Rosario. I am doing my first year in my Master's of Arts in Psychology. Former psychology president, and I am also the president of Psychi at UVI. The surprising positive experience I've had since COVID it was a challenge, but now it isn't. It's the isolation. The isolation was hard at first, not being around so many people and being pulled in so many directions. I was very busy by family and friends. That was the two-sided. It gave me a lot of time to work on myself. The isolation, not having so many people that I actually was not responsible, but made myself responsible for. Family calling me, I need this, I'm the one with the car, so I need you to take me this place and to do that, do this, can you do this for me? And not being able to do that for them gave me time for me to center myself mentally and emotionally. So to reset for self-care. To be able to take care of me, because when you're so busy with other people and everybody's needs, you kind of forget about yourself. So I was able to mentally regroup and do some self-care. That's it.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. Taking care of yourself is very important because if there is no you, you can't help anyone else, So that was very good. I'm seeing that Miss Abigail Joseph has her hand raised. Would you like to take a go at that question?
Oh, yes, please. Thank you. For me too, I agree with Miss Rosario and also too with creativity. Because we're always so busy, we don't really think of things we can do or create. So now that we're at a standstill, I came up with so much ideas that I really can't do, but just creativity ideas that comes to you. On the positive outlook, that's what happened to me.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Go ahead.
No, I said thank you.
In this time, we're also tapping into our inner self, and we're also in the opportunity to do things that we never thought we could have done or would have done. So that's
True.
that. How about you, Miss Christopher? I'm seeing that your hand is raised. Go right ahead at that question.
I agree with both. I was able to do self because I didn't do self before everybody else before me, and I've already made myself a regiment of going to the beach when everybody have to be stuck at work. I go to the beach for my hour, and then I met a group of seniors that were like, "Come Sunday." So I'm actually able to do that little separation but together group with my seniors. So yes, I like the fact that I get to like learn about myself again. That was the best.
Wonderful, yes. And how about you, Mr. Rodriguez? Would you like to add or give your response to the question?
Yes. As a person who is studying a nursing major, COVID surprisingly made school a bit easier for me, even though I prefer in-person learning. Everything have to be physical. So as a person who don't socialize much, I have no means of transportation to go anywhere. It blessed my first semester because I can just stay at home, do classes, I come from my home, everything's like right there on your laptop. So.
Very true. Very, very true. So that brings us to the end of the second question. Now we are going to go into the third, which is, how do you think the world will be different after COVID-19? What differences would there be? What changes would there be to the world after the virus? I'm seeing that Ms. Rosario has her hand raised. You go right ahead at that question.
I am on two minds about it. Human beings are creatures of habit. And we usually change for a little while and then go back to our old behaviors. And hopefully we would have learned that all the material things we thought were important are not. That what's important is relationships, establishing family relationships, friendships, and hopefully we learn also that we are learning from our resiliency. We are being so resilient. We have gone through so much, and being in the Caribbean where we go through hurricanes, we have the resiliency already built in. But this COVID has been extremely challenging because after a hurricane, we still can get together and as a family and have parties and have get-togethers and be able to see people. But it's going to teach us that we can get through anything. And yeah, that's it. That hopefully we will learn that as human beings, it's about our relationships. It's about other people and ourselves, not so much about all the things and the busyness and all the stuff we have to do and get, and just to be able to center ourselves and focus on human relationship.
That is a really good point. I myself, have to take a note of that, Miss Rosario, because, sometimes we tend to get caught up in work and tend to get caught up in a lot of things that doesn't really matter at the end of the day more than family and more than the bond and the connections that we build with them. So that's a very good pointer. I'm seeing that Miss Joseph has her hand raised. You can take a shot at that question. How would you think the world would be different after COVID-19?
Yes, I agree with Miss Rosario again. Yeah, she hits the points head on. But just to extend, I also to have a dichotomic outlook to it, because it will raise people health awareness worldwide and how to be health conscious, and also broaden our relationships with family, more important than spending time on things that wasn't. So yes.
Very true. Very, very true. How about Miss Christopher and Mr. Rodriguez? Anyone of you would like to take a shot at that question for us? Go ahead, Miss Christopher.
This one here is wishful thinking. So to make aware of people's hygiene to themselves. My daughter visited different countries and she said it's an eye opener of how nasty a certain country is that we live in, and how cleanly other countries see the need to be. I think that we've gotten lazy in our, how you say, cleanliness. And I think this will actually open up some eyes. I'm hoping it will actually open up eyes to the fact that it's nasty.
That's very, very understandable. You know, pollution is one of the hot topics, for want of a better word, that a lot of people is speaking about right now. And I do understand where you're coming from. How about you, Mr. Rodriguez?
I agree with everyone, and like the world will be different because people will still keep the distance, you know, mostly because like when you're hanging out with friends and so, we have to be careful with the negative and small-minded people on the island because we live in an island where society defines others, and instead of people being positive and adding positivity to people's lives like mine, they add more negativity to it, which makes it hard for others to grow, be successful. And with COVID, it's still making things hard for them because COVID is like a negativity in their life. So they have to handle that everyday negativity. And like how Miss Christopher said, with the cleanliness, people can still be dirty because the mask, I seen masks all over the beaches, littered everywhere, you know. You're seeing hand sanitizer bottles, everything. So even though COVID is teaching us to be clean, people are still being very dirty with it.
True. And I believe it was Miss Rosario that said it, human nature is just, you know, bent on reverting back to certain old habits, you know, and I really hope that hopefully we get through this and we just in general take a page out of COVID's book and keep that cleanliness part, like we hold on to that part and not get sidetracked, not forget, you know, apart from washing our hands, we still have to keep the place clean as well. So that was a good point as well. Um, let's move on to question 4. We have, based on your experiences, what do you wish that you would have known back in March when the pandemic first started? Again, based on your experience, what do you wish you would have known back in March when the pandemic started? I'm seeing that Miss Joseph has her hand raised. You could go right ahead at that question, Miss Joseph.
Yes. So based on my experience, I will say that you can never be too prepared. Like preparation, just to be prepared is an important factor in all of this. But things always happen, so just always be prepared. That's what I could say.
Indeed. Indeed. Would anyone else like a shot at that question? I'm seeing that Mr. Rodriguez, your hand is raised. Go right ahead.
Yes. We all were very how to say shocked when COVID came because as a small island where not many people know about or know even exists, it is shocking to see how COVID made it to the island. But I wish I would have known how it would have changed life entirely, such as the social aspects of life, the financial, the mental, because we live in an island where not only do we have the homeless and the mentally ill, we don't have any help for them. So COVID gonna make things hard because now we have to keep the distance. It's just gonna make a burden on your mind. So and then we have a lot of students on the island who's relying on the free tuition because they don't have money to pay. And with COVID, not many people hiring a job, so they have to find that way of making money. And some people do criminal things to make money
True.
because like that's their only way of living. So it's hard because we're not doing much for the locals because from what I've seen too, when people are getting hired, it's who you know. that will get you the job. And it's not locals that's getting the job. It's people from states and other countries.
That is heard, multiple people speak on this, especially the part with it's a who you know basis of getting the job and not really based on your qualifications or experience. So I am aware of such. That was a very good point. Would Miss Christopher or Miss Rosario like to take a shot at that question?
I'll roll. With me, I work for the Daily News. I also run my own company. The company no longer for right this minute because COVID isn't allowing me to make money. My what I do is literally social group. Dancing, can't do it. Singing, can't do it. The Daily News chopped down to 30-40% of its staff. You can't do it. You can't be out. So if I had known, then I guess I wouldn't have known. It's just naive of me to think that there would have been continuation. What kind of job you want, but you never put in your head, does that job actually going to be able to be there if this particular situation had happened? I financially, I got knocked out of the water, just knocked out. It would have been good to have at least somewhat of an idea that I would have been not stable financially anymore.
It is one thing we must take into consideration that everything happens for a reason, and God is always the best. So once we do our best, He would also assist us in doing the rest. Going on to Miss Rosario, would you like to take a shot at that question? Knowing, based on your experience, what do you wish you would have known back in March when the pandemic started?
The only thing I could think of, and that is how long it would last. I wish I had known how long this thing would last. We are still in it, and I have been socially distancing since spring. In March when we got sent home for spring break. That's when we found out we're not going back. I wish I had known how long, and I mean because then you can kind of get a mental set your mind to, okay, this is going to last X amount of time, so you need to put certain things in place to make it mentally and emotionally and physically to be able to it's been stressful even though you're at home. Those, for people like me, I have internet at home, I have my laptop, and I was doing most of my classes online for my master's classes online anyway. But like I said, I like to go into UVI. I like the atmosphere. It's easier. It was easier to do my work there. But just how long this thing would last, it's almost November, and here we are, still in.
That is very, very true as well. That was the last question. This concludes our paneling. You guys were great. We had a wonderful conversation, the interaction. I loved it, the energy, the responses. I really, really appreciated you guys tuning in and having this conversation with me. It was much needed and it was very, very informative. It was nice knowing how everyone feels. It was a nice mixture of people to hear from, and it was really, really great. I'm seeing that we have Miss Patricia and also Miss Maritza on the live. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and each and every person that is here today. Thank you so much. And we really did have a great discussion today. Thank you all.